The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Exploring the Unknown with Rebecca and Shay. Taking stories from today's news, Rebecca and Shay will explore everything from the paranormal, supernatural, the strange and unusual, unsolved mysteries, and more. Join them as they delve deep into the unknown and mysterious, taken from news headlines. Water cooler chat with a paranormal twist. Only on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing, girl?
Good. How are you, Shay?
I am doing good. What awesome story are we actually going to talk about today?
Oh, let me see. Today, this is an article from Esquire.com, and it's called 10 Terrifying But True Horror Stories Reported in the News. And this one was published October 7th of 2020.
I'm really excited about this one.
This looks like a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A horror movie or book or show gets your heart pumping in the moment, sure, but you can at least rest easy afterwards knowing what you experienced was a work of fiction. What's more terrifying is when the real world gets creepier than anything Stephen King could dream up. Real terror happens around us every day, even if it's not always making it onto your timeline. Murders, disappearances, demonic possession, and devil worship aren't just stories from a writer's mind, but headlines ripped straight from the news. We've rounded up some of the most horrifying, unexplained real-world stories below.
Dun, dun, dun.
Number 1. Yeah.
Sorry, gotta do my dun, dun, dun. Yeah, have you been here?
Dun. I have not been here, but this one is kind of close to me, and I should go. It's one of those, it's on my list. I need to go.
It's not close to me, and it's on my list.
The Axe Murder House. The Villisca Axe Murder House in Villisca, Iowa is a well-known tourist attraction for ghost hunters and horror lovers alike. The site of a gruesome, unsolved 1912 murder in which 6 children and 2 adults had their skulls completely crushed by the axe of an unknown perpetrator was purchased in 1994, restored to its 1912 condition, and converted into a tourist destination. It costs $428 a night to stay at the old haunted home, where visitors always report strange paranormal experiences, such as visions of a man with an axe roaming the halls or the faint screams of children. But in November of 2014, the haunting took a darker turn. Robert Stephen Larson Jr., 37, of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, was on a regular recreational paranormal visit with friends when true horror struck. His companions found him stabbed in the chest, an apparent self-inflicted wound. Calling 911, and Larson was brought to a nearby hospital before being helicoptered to Creighton University Medical Center in Omaha. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said Larson suffered the self-inflicted injury at about 12:45 a.m., which is around the same time the 1912 axe murders in the house began.
Wait a minute. So this is real?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
I had heard about this.
What year?
I had heard
2014. Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Yeah.
Jeez.
Larson recovered from his injuries, but has never spoken publicly about what occurred that day. For Martha Lynn, the owner of the home, the incident was very upsetting, obviously. It's public publicity, but it's not exactly the kind of publicity you desire to have. I don't want people thinking that when they come to the Villisca Axe Murder House, something's going to happen that's going to make them do something like that. The house remains open for tourist visits and overnight stays today. And, we have several friends who have been there.
Yes, we do. I'm sorry, my mind is blown right now. I did not know this story.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, I had heard this story because, number one, it's such an odd story. the idea that he stabbed himself at the same time the murders happened.
It almost sounds like a publicity stunt, but who would do that? Like, you wouldn't.
Well, yeah, who would stab themselves?
Yeah.
And he'd been with a big group and somehow got separated by himself when this happened. So nobody's sure exactly what really took place because he was...
I think this whole story needs to be on the show sometime. We got to research it and stuff, but I think we need to do a whole show, 20-minute show of this. We got to research it and like really talk about this. My mind is blown. Like, whoosh.
Right, and then when I read up on the Villisca house itself, it hasn't been lived in since the murders. And I mean, when they talk about like recreating it or whatever, it was my understanding that basically after the murders happened, they just locked the doors and that was it. So like
pretty much.
Yeah.
See,
so
we could go on and on about this because like I want to pick your brain on like, are we hurting these ghosts if they're really there? Is it like for profit? Is it okay what we do? Like we, meaning I've never been there, but I've been to other places that tragedy has happened. So, but I don't think we have time to talk about it all. So the Axe Murder House, we definitely need to redo.
Right. Yeah, and I'd like to go there, and then maybe I'll actually get over there.
Yeah, you get over there, and then we can do a show on it.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is called The Haunted Doll. When you think of haunted dolls, it's likely the creepy old Victorian-looking porcelain kind that springs to mind. None of which you probably have laying around. I don't. I had some given to me, and I gave them to Chad Derry because
Kim Purvis has like over 100.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not for me. Mm-hmm. Still, don't get too comfortable around any kids' toys too soon, though. A Disney Frozen Elsa doll that was gifted for Christmas in 2013 in the Houston area made headlines earlier this year when it seemingly became haunted. The doll recited phrases from the movie Frozen and sang "Let It Go" when a button was on its necklace was pressed. For 2 years, it did that in English. Mother Emily Mendonia said in 2015, it started doing it alternating between Spanish and English. There wasn't a button that changed these. It was just random. I could almost see that being like just a
glitch.
A glitch. Yeah, because I'm sure there were Spanish programmed ones. And like there's some where you can change the language on them.
I'm with you.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The family has owned the doll for more than 6 years and never changed its batteries. Those batteries on the annoying ones last for frickin' ever. Just saying. The mother says the doll would randomly begin to speak and sing even with the switch turned off. The family decided to throw this creepy doll out in December 2019. Weeks later, they found it inside a bench in their living room.
Of course.
The kids insisted Of course.
Of course.
The kids insisted they didn't put it there.
Yeah, you throw the creepy doll away, it always comes back. Look at Chucky.
Right? Exactly. That's why I give mine away.
Yeah. Yep.
The kids insisted they didn't put it there, and I believed them because they wouldn't have dug through the garbage outside. Madonia told the news.
And your kids won't do drugs either.
Right? Exactly. No, they never do anything like that, ever.
Ever.
At that point, Elsa ceased to sing the English rendition of Let It Go altogether, speaking only in Spanish when pressed. The family then double-bagged the bizarre doll and placed it at the bottom of their garbage, which was taken out on garbage day. They went on a trip shortly after, but when they returned, Elsa, too, had come back and was waiting in the backyard of their home.
Oh, my God. I need my boots.
This time, the family mailed Elsa to a family friend in Minnesota who taped the haunted doll to the front bumper of his truck.
Again, I need my boots.
does not seem to have made its way back to Houston yet, as per her latest February Facebook update on the cookie doll. That is not where I thought they were going with that.
So, because he taped it to the bumper, it's now gone.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my God.
Okay, well then.
Oh,
I guess now we know how to deal with creepy dolls.
maybe I should have tried drugs when I was younger, because then this would... Sorry. Sorry, family. I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. That one I'm not too sure about, but I think it's hilarious that he just strapped it to the front of his car.
It is. That's why this show is great, because we make fun of things we believe and not believe. So we make fun of people fairly.
Okay, a deadly exorcism. In August of 2016 in North London, 26-year-old Kennedy Ife began acting strange and aggressive following a pain in his throat. He reportedly bit his father, threatened to cut off his own penis. Why wouldn't you try to cut off somebody else's instead of your own? And complained of a python or snake inside of him before his family restrained him to bed with cable ties and excessive force.
That is a lot of information in 10 seconds.
Right? Yeah, they put it all in one sentence. Just throw it all in one sentence.
Yeah, I think it might be 2 sentences at the most. Like, literally. That's a lot of it. Wow.
The family then set about attempting to cure Kennedy through restraint and prayer over the next 3 days, the court was told. His brother, Colin, told police it's clear that thing was in him, what we believed was a demon, because it was not natural. It was clearly trying to kill him, he said. We had to restrain him for himself. It was clear if we didn't restrain him, he could have tried to harm people in our family. Kennedy Ice had been bound to his bed for 3 days without medical attention when his brother called emergency services, explaining that Kennedy Ice was complaining of dehydration. He appeared to have developed breathing issues and was pronounced dead at 10:17 a.m.
This just took a dark turn.
Yeah, no kidding. As the Independent reported, while police were at the house, Colin allegedly carried out an attempted resurrection by chanting and praying for Mr. Ice. All 7 of Kennedy Ice's family members were accused of manslaughter, false imprisonment, and causing or allowing the death of a vulnerable adult. As well they should have been.
Yes, I agree.
A post-mortem examination revealed over 60 wounds, including a possible bite on Kennedy Ice's body and his father, Kenneth Ice, along with 4 of his brothers sustaining injuries as well. The BBC reported Kevin Ice told jurors he ordered his sons to take shifts and use overwhelming force, but denied that an association with cults, occults, and secret societies played any part in the death. After a 4-day jury deliberation, all 7 family members were cleared of charges. What? On March 14th of 2019.
Overwhelming force. That's in quotations.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand why they didn't get help. I mean, if he was that bad, why don't you get help? I mean, I don't think just tying him down to the bed.
Yeah. Feed him soup broth.
I mean,
bring in a priest. I don't know.
Something.
He died of dehydration, it sounds like.
It's kind of what it sounds like. Or
if we read the story and it says they started projectile green stuff like the movie.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see. Well, let's just strap him to the bed and see what happens. Why not take him into the hospital or contact a priest or something? Get some help.
Yeah. And again, this is one side of the story, but this is a little bit more complete than we play devil's advocate, but this is like court proceedings and stuff. So, but they were cleared of all charges, so I guess we'll see. Or is the story over?
That was it. That was the end of the story. They were cleared of charges.
Well, I
I think we're missing some parts of the story. I mean, did he have a brain tumor? That's where my thought goes. Did he have a brain tumor? Or did he have throat cancer or something that went to his brain and caused him hallucinations?
Because once cancer goes to the brain, I've seen it firsthand. It's not fun to watch, and they really do hallucinate. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thoughts, but we'll see. Who knows? Anyway, next one: dead animals in the walls.
Oh boy!
Pleasant. When the Brezus, I don't know how to say that name. Brezus?
Brezus? I don't. Okay, we'll just say that.
When they decided to insulate their home in Auburn, Pennsylvania in 2015, they discovered that it had already been with scores of dead animal carcasses.
Yeah.
The dead animals were wrapped in newspapers from the 30s and 40s and were among half-used spices and other items. After removing the items, they sent hundreds of artifacts and carcasses to an expert in Cutstone. The expert attributed the rotting animals in their walls to powwow or Dutch magic, a ritual originating in the culture of the Pennsylvania Dutch to treat ailments and gain physical and spiritual protection. The Pennsylvania Dutch were a group of German-speaking settlers into Pennsylvania in the 1600s and 1700s and are often of Lutheran, Mennonite, or Amish faith. The Washington
of
Post
course, because they're
magic.
blamed for everything.
Yeah. Many of the spells deal with the care of livestock, finding water, or the treatment of minor ailments, reflecting the conditions and concerns of early American settlers. But powwow also has within it a tradition of darker spells and even of such things as conjuring demons.
Ooh.
One notable ritual in their tradition is this text to create loyalty in a dog. Do you really
How about
need to create
boyfriends?
loyalty in a dog? Aren't dogs just normally loyal? I'm not.
Can you hex to create loyalty in a boyfriend? I'd be more interested in that.
That would be more useful. That would be a lot more useful. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you know powwow people, hit me up. Loyalty to a boyfriend.
Okay,
Sorry.
to attach a dog to a person, provided nothing else was used before to affect it, try to draw some of your blood and let the dog eat it along with his food, and then he will stay with you. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. The mold found on the rotting carcasses in the house has caused illness among the family members, and they say the odor hasn't gone away. I'm saying, yeah, the whole
burn it
that smell would have been outrageous. Yeah, and then would you live in that house? Okay,
No.
That's my question.
No.
After you found that, would you live in that house?
No, a decaying body, whether it's human or animal, of course it smells, people, and then it gets into the nooks and crannies of the grains of the wood, and it gets into all the other material. Of course the house smells. Burn it down.
One little dead mouse can smell so rank
Yes.
that I can't imagine having that many dead animals in the walls. It's
Holy crap.
Let alone knowing that some magic thing was involved in it. No, thank you. I think I'm moving.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Freshly insulated home for sale.
Oh, yeah. And wrapped in newspaper. Oh, yeah. No.
Nope. Florida devil worshipping. Friends noticed that Daniel Harkins, a 35-year-old school teacher near St. Petersburg, Florida, started acting strangely in June of 2012, developing an interest in demonic rituals. Soon after, she was arrested for the abuse of 7 of her former students, as the Tampa Bay Times reported.
Oh, here we go.
Daniel Harkins told the kids they needed to rid their bodies of demons as the group gathered before dusk Saturday around a small fire near the St. Petersburg Pier. They should cut their skin to let the evil spirits out. Police said, she told the children. Then they needed to burn the wounds to ensure those spirits would not return. When Harkins held the lighter to one teen's hand, the wind blew the flame out, the police said. That prompted her to douse his hand in perfume before setting it on fire. Oh, my gosh. The boy suffered second-degree burns. Another teen was cut on the neck with a broken bottle. Police said Harkins used a flame to heat a small key, which she then used to cauterize the wound. I don't know. Have you ever been to St. Pete Beach?
No.
Okay. It's a very busy public beach. You're not alone out there. It's a big beach, but there's a lot of people on that beach. It's kind of like a boardwalk type feel,
All times of day and night?
All the time. Anytime I've ever been there, which we were there in like February, and there's probably like 200 people walking around on the beach.
Yeah, but
February.
If she's doing rituals, wouldn't it be like 2, 3 in the morning?
I don't know. I'm just saying this is a public beach. I don't understand why people aren't seeing this. Police were notified because a friend of one of the students who participated in the ritual raised alarms. However, none of the students themselves told their parents about the event or would comment following the arrest of Harkins for aggravated battery and child abuse. NBC reported the investigators said they've spoken to Harkins, but she doesn't spell out what type of religion would require such drastic measures. She hasn't informed us exactly what she thought she was trying to accomplish with this. And that's it. Weird.
All right. I don't even know where to begin.
That's just a whole lot of bizarre.
Again, a lot of information in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff left out. There's a lot of stuff left out of that one, I think. I think the police, too, have a lot of questions.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
That they never asked to. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
Okay, no. On with our weird list.
Next.
The death of Elisa Lamb. Elisa Lamb was last seen on January 31st, 2013 in the lobby of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She was vacationing through the West Coast, documenting the trip on her blog and checking in with her parents every day. On January 31st, those calls stopped. Lamb had vanished. Soon the police were involved and her parents arrived to help with the search.
Okay, is the Cecil Hotel the one that weird stuff happens in all the time? Or maybe we'll find out. I didn't read ahead, but
maybe we'll find out. I don't know that one right off the top of my head, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. I forget things. But you see a lot of people doing that though, going on solo trips and documenting it on their blogs and stuff.
Yeah, the fact she disappeared, but I'm Googling. You can keep going if you want.
Right, you keep going. You Google, I'll keep going. They had nothing. That February, LAPD released elevator surveillance footage of Lamb before her disappearance. The footage showed Lamb behaving strangely in the elevator, appearing to talk with invisible people, peering around the corner of the door, crouching in the corner, and opening and closing the door. But what exactly is going on in this video raises more questions than answers. Theories range from psychotic episodes to demonic possession to unknown assailants just out of the camera's view.
All right, I'm a dumbass.
Around that time, yeah.
You don't have to agree so quick. This is the story. This is the story why I picked the whole story. That's why it sounded familiar to me. If you guys haven't seen this video, you have to watch it. This little article.
The video is included with the article.
This little article here is not doing it justice. You have to watch. This is the craziest stuff I've ever seen. The way she was acting. I knew Cecil. I knew the Cecil Hotel sounded familiar to me. I didn't know why, but you have to watch the video. I'm writing it down. I'll try to find it and share it in our group.
So is the Cecil Hotel known for being haunted, or is it just this one incident?
It's just this one incident, but that's what I was thinking because it sounded familiar. This is crazy, the way she was acting. My pen's dead. This is why I picked the story, is because of this little bit here. So I'm going to try. Well, I'm writing it down. And I am going to, when I share this article to the group and on Paranormal Buzz radio page, I will share the video too. You got to check it out. I'll share it with you beforehand.
Yeah, I was gonna say the video is included here in the article. We'll have to.
You can watch it if you want to take a second. I did not watch. Yeah, I didn't watch this video, but it's crazy. Like, you don't see anybody else in the video, but she's talking to somebody.
Yeah, and she was trying to hide there from somebody.
Yep.
It looks.
Some people.
This is really weird.
It is. You should research the whole thing later and watch all of it. Some people have speculated somebody's standing off camera on purpose, but she's also in the elevator, hiding and stuff and talking and no.
Yeah, it's like she was.
So
I expected almost to see somebody walk by that one time when she was in the corner, but
no. So she's either really hiding from somebody and panicked, or something happened. I don't want to give away the rest of the story so far.
No, it's like she's talking to somebody in the elevator.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, I'm not watching the video with you. I'm going by memory. Yep. But you don't see anybody. There's nobody in there.
No. But she definitely looks like she's talking to somebody.
Yeah. And I believe that morning she was perfectly normal, her normal self. Yeah. It's crazy.
It seems odd that nobody walked by this entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, wait to hear the end. No, it's not just a, quick glimpse into...
No, it's not. It's a long video.
It is. Did you already say what happened to her while I was Googling? Because I wasn't listening. Or do you not know?
No, not yet.
Okay, then I don't want to say anything.
Shut, opened. Not shut again. Is it going to open again?
Yeah. The elevator itself. Yep. Crazy video, huh?
Yeah, that was just really bizarre.
Yeah, I followed this when it was happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. All right. The article continues. Around that time,
you ready to get grossed out, though?
What?
Are you ready to get grossed out?
Oh, boy. Here we go, huh? Around that time, hotel guests started reporting weird things happening with the Cecil Hotel water supply, a CNN reports. The shower was awful, said Sabina Bao, who spent 8 days there during the investigation. When you turned the tap on, the water was coming black first for 2 seconds, and then it was going back to normal. The tap water tasted horrible. Oh, no. Bao said it had a very funny, sweetly disgusting taste, and it's a very strange taste. I can barely describe it. But for a week, they never complained. We never thought anything of it. We thought that was just the way it was here. On the morning of February 19th, a hotel employee climbed to the roof and used a ladder to investigate the hotel's water storage tank. That's where authorities found the decomposing naked body of Lam, whose personal items were found nearby. After an autopsy, her death was labeled accidental. NBC Los Angeles reported at the time about the strange circumstances in the hotel's past. The tank had a metal latch that can be opened, but authorities said access to the roof is secured with an alarming lock. The single-room occupancy hotel has an unusual history. Night stalker Richard Ramirez, who was found guilty of 14 slayings in the 80s, lived on the 14th floor for several months in 1985. And international serial killer Jack Unterweger is suspected of murdering 3 prostitutes during the time he lived there, named One. He killed himself in jail in 1994. In 1962, a female occupant jumped out of one of the hotel's windows, killing herself and a pedestrian on whom she landed.
Okay, let's break that down. This is the story I picked. This is why I picked this story. So, she did not work there, but yet she managed to get out of this door to the roof without alarms going off. Sure. And when you saw her in the elevator, she was fully dressed, but yet she was found naked.
This is really strange.
I'm telling you, anybody listening, look into this story even more. It's so weird. This is just, remember how basic these little clips are. I mean,
I was going to say, like a lot of the stories in this one, there's a lot left to the one that I think would be interesting.
She doesn't have keys to the door. How does she get out the door without alarm sounding? And so she stripped off her clothes before she hid in this water tank and died? Like, so weird. Like, the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, even if she were able to unlatch it, I don't know, I'd have to see it, but usually those have like a really big heavy lid. How did she close it?
That's the other thing. They don't even mention that in here. Like, how, it's so weird. But those poor people.
Oh, yeah.
And there's more people than just the one person that complained that's in here. They were drinking and showering in the water from the water tank with the poor dead
disgusting
person. Like,
that's just, well, that water had to smell horrendous.
That was the other claim, that it even smelt bad.
Well, yeah. Oh my goodness. That's just, wow.
See why I picked it? It's crazy. None of it makes sense. None of it all the way around. Like, and I'm not a conspiracist, but this one, it smells of something. That's a bad pun. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, this is really strange.
Yeah.
Should be on Unsolved Mysteries.
Well, it's been on a lot of shows, but we can look into this one further. But this is a long article, so let's move on.
All right, this one is an exorcism in Indianapolis. Last year, the Indianapolis Star published a lengthy report on a family terrorized by 3 children allegedly possessed by demons. The account of LaToya Emmons and her family tells disturbing stories of children climbing up the walls, getting thrown across rooms, and children threatening doctors in deep, unnatural voices. It would seem like something straight out of a movie work of fantasy, except all those accounts were more or less corroborated with nearly 800 pages of official records obtained by the Indianapolis Star and recounted in more than a dozen interviews with police, DCS personnel, psychologists, family members, and a Catholic priest.
Wow.
Yeah, they got help with this one for sure.
Thank God.
One of the more chilling sections of the report includes a segment about the possessed 9-year-old. According to Washington's original DCS report, an account corroborated by Walker, the nurse, the 9-year-old had a weird grin and walked backward up a wall to the ceiling, then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet, and never let go of his grandmother's hand.
What did the grandmother do? Just flop around?
I don't know.
I'm just saying what all the listeners, all 4 of them, are thinking.
This is like the most bizarre thing. I mean, I want video.
Grandmother didn't you didn't like it. What? How? What? The poor grandmother.
What?
She's brittle bones.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Another segment of the piece reads, the 12-year-old would later tell mental health professionals that she sometimes felt as if she were being choked and held down so she couldn't speak or move. She said she heard a voice say she'd never see her family again and wouldn't live another 20 minutes.
Obviously, she did. She did the interview.
Yeah. Again, another one.
I can't get over the grandmother thing.
Where's
Sorry.
the follow-up of the case?
Yeah, it went downhill for me after she never let go of the grandmother's hand. It went downhill. Sorry. Oh, that's the end of the story.
Up a wall to the ceiling, then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet. I don't.
And what did Grandma do? Just like she has a dislocated shoulder that can just spin and spin?
I don't know. Maybe that's why maybe that's why they were in the hospital. Oh my goodness.
Grandma,
wow.
I hope you're okay. But we're going to move on to the next story. But Grandma, I hope you're okay.
this one's Utah murder-suicide. In September 2014, a Utah teen returned to his home to find his parents and 3 siblings dead. In a notebook, a to-do list had been scribbled on the pages. The list looked as if his parents were ready to go on vacation. Items such as feed the pets, find someone to watch their house were written. The Salt Lake Tribune reported it appeared to be a murder-suicide, but there was no suicide note, no prior indication that they would do this, and no explanation. Police could not figure out why 2 parents would kill themselves and 3 of their 4 children. For a year, no one knew exactly what happened to the family or what would drive the parents to do something so unthinkful.
Let me give you a hint.
In January,
3 out of 4 children.
Yeah.
That's my first thought, my cynical thought. Sorry, go on.
Right. In January, police released more chilling details in the case. According to accounts from family members and an investigation by police, the parents were driven by a belief that the apocalypse was coming and an obsession with a convicted killer. As the Washington Post reported, friends and family told police the parents were worried about the evil in the world and wanted to escape a pending apocalypse, but most assumed they just wanted to move somewhere off the grid. Investigators also found letters written by Christy Strack to one of the state's most infamous convicted killers, Dan Lafferty, who was convicted in the 1984 fatal stabbing of his sister-in-law and her 1-year-old daughter. According to trial testimony, he killed the victims at the order of his brother, Ron Lafferty, who claimed to have had a revelation from God. The story became a book called Under the Banner of Heaven. Police said Christy Strack became friends with Dan Lafferty, and she and her husband even visited him in prison.
All right, so I was wrong. The 4th child. I'm sorry, 4th child.
Yeah, why was the one
He must not have been home.
That poor kid.
That poor kid.
He must have been like politics or something. Wow.
Yeah, that's unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Very unpleasant.
Okay. These are weird stories.
I told you. I warned you.
The Phone Stalker. In 2007, ABC News documented a series of cell phone calls to families with terrifying specific death threats. The unidentified callers knew exactly what families were doing and what they were wearing. The families say the calls come in at all hours of the night, threatening to kill their children, their pets, and grandparents. Voicemails arrive, playing recordings of their private conversations, including one with a local police detective. The caller knows the family said, what they're wearing, what they're doing, and after months of investigating, police seem powerless to stop them. Months?
Wow.
This went on with the King Canal? I don't know.
Kendall? Yeah.
I don't know. We're butchering that name, but...
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Went on for months. He reported a caller with a scratchy voice threatening to slit their throats. When Faircrest, Washington police tried to find the culprit, the calls were traced back to their own phones, even when they were turned off. It got worse. The Kuykendalls and 2 other Faircrest families told ABC News that they believe the callers were using their cell phones to spy on them. They say the hackers know their every move, where they are, what they're doing, and what they're wearing. The callers have reported private conversations. Families. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one it does sound like an urban legend story.
It does to me too, yeah.
Interesting. The Watchers, the next one, after moving into their $1.3 million dream home, a New Jersey family started receiving creepy death threats from someone who identified themselves as the Watcher.
I saw this on BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed, yeah. I don't know if it was Supernatural or Unsolved Mysteries, but I recently saw this one. My daughter Caitlin loves this. Sorry. I'll stop interrupting. No, I won't. I'm lying.
You're okay.
Oh.
Since moving in, the owner said they have received numerous letters from the mysterious person, the Watcher, claiming the home has been the subject of my family for decades, and I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. Pastor reported the new owners have several children, and other letters asked, have they found out what's in the walls yet? What? I am pleased to know your name now and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. Yeah, I think I'd be moving too. The family was forced to flee from the home and later filed a lawsuit against the previous owners.
I think it was other people in the neighborhood got some other stuff too. Don't quote me. Please don't sue me. But it was more involved than this. But it was on BuzzFeed.
If they were able to file a lawsuit against the previous owners, then yes, I would say it was probably more involved than that.
I think they lost. But
oh, really?
Yeah. It was multiple letters.
Oh.
Multiple letters, multiple years, like this went on. Again, if you don't watch BuzzFeed, let me tell you, it's one of the best things my daughter ever introduced me to. They do a BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries type thing and a BuzzFeed Supernatural thing. It's great.
Huh.
But it was on there.
I'll have to go check that out.
You should.
Yeah, that sounds really,
YouTube.
Really weird and really,
I think
really
they're
random.
on YouTube. Is that the end of our article?
Yep, that is the end of the article. It's kind of a long one.
It was. That's why I was like rushing through it. I knew it was.
And then there were a lot of really weird articles too. And
yeah.
Good one.
It was, because, like I said, I saw that one story, and I'm like, we have to do this. But now we have to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I am definitely leaving in when you agreed so quick that I was a dumbass.
I can't believe I did that.
She's like, yeah, this is what she's thinking. Yeah, you're a dumbass, but I love you anyways. That was her.
No, I was kind of like half paying attention and
sure. Yep.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I was kind of like reading some of it and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a dumbass. Oh yeah.
That was so quick. I'm like, I'm a dumbass, and you're like, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
we went way over time again, but I miss you. I love you.
I know. I miss you too. This was a really good article. I'm glad we did this one.
Me too. All right, guys. You know the drill. If you have a story you want to send to us, send it to us on our Facebook group. I think it's called Exploring the Unknown Podcast with Rebecca and Shay. Well, we will give you a special shout out.
Yep. We'll give you a shout out, share a new article, and then check out this one. Watch that video.
Yeah. Yes. And I have to say, nobody's ever sent us a story yet.
No.
These
one
are all
day it'll
us.
happen, Shay. One day somebody's going to be like, oh man, Beck and Shay, they got to read this one.
We have the rosary beads, and we're praying. You guys send us a story that you think is good to get you a special shout out.
For sure. It'll happen.
It will. All right, guys. We will see you next week.